So I built this B2B lead engine for a client. So I'm just here to walk you through it. So in case you might want to build it for your own business, I'm just going to walk you through it. So this is what it typically looks like. So all of your leads come into this single database. And if you go into this other view, you will see the leads that are new, the ones that are qualified. If you have any booked ones, the ones that have replied to your DMs, and the ones that have booked a meeting, the ones that have replied, the ones that have booked a meeting, and the ones that you've contacted. Basically, let me just rearrange this because I feel like contacted, replied, booked here. So that way, these are all the leads that you would see here once they come in. I had to delete, I had to duplicate this because I don't really want the business's names to be out there. So, but this is what it would look like, right? So let me just walk you through each of the scenarios that control that database. So the first one is of course going to be the lead scraping setup. So what this one does is that it goes into Google Maps, scrapes a lead, and also goes into Apify to scrape the lead, social media, contact, address, and other details like that about the lead, and returns that to me. So I will add that in my spreadsheet. So normally this would be like a typical thing that I would get from my spreadsheet. You can see the business name, the website, the industry, the location, the phone number, emails, everything. Basically, it gives me a list of all of that, right? So that is what the first module does. And I decided to put it in a spreadsheet because they are still raw data. I still need to enrich them before I put them into my database. So that's why I'm just holding it temporarily in a spreadsheet. So that is what the first module does, the first scenario does. And as you can see, it's very simple to set up. You can just screenshot this and set it up for yourself. The Google Maps here, you will get your Google Maps connection from your Google Console, platform. And in here, your query set will be, whatever you're looking for: coaches, restaurants, whatever business, whatever kind of businesses you are looking for, restaurants, hotels, pools, whatever businesses that you're looking for in whatever location, that would be your query stage. So that way, every time it just runs and gets you restaurants in that particular location that you're targeting. So the next thing is that it, collects that, when it collects it in a raw form, and it does not also collect the website. So what we want to do now is go into our Google Maps APIs and get the website of the lead that they have scraped for us. That's why we need this one. So you just have to put your parameters here like so. Always make sure to add your key here, and also, of course, your URL here. This is going to always be your URL that is going to get you the data. And of course, once you get that, you're going to run an Apify actor that scrapes contact details. Because once you get, the email and the name, from the name comes from the Google Maps, and the email comes from the HTTP module, you are not going to get any other thing like their contact details, their address, their phone number, all those kind of things. So that's why we're running these modules, so to get all those things, plus their social media as well. As you can see, we'll get Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever, whatever social medias that they have, we are going to get it from running this Apify. So once we run this Apify, normally Apify will create a data set and put it on its platform, or on its platform. So what you would have to do is go into that platform and grab or call that that data set. That's the only time you would have access to that data that it has created. So that's why we need this other module here that calls that data set for us here. So once it calls that data set for us, we have all the details now, and we can feed it into our spreadsheet like I had showed you. So once you have the setup, your lead scraping setup is ready. So we are going to go into our second setup. So your second setup now is going to be your enrichment system. So what this one basically does is that once, like I said, we don't have anything on these people, we don't know, plainly what they do, or like what their business module is, or if they're even qualified for the services we are selling, or anything of that nature. We don't even know them yet. They are just raw leads that we have collected. So one thing that we now have to do is enrich the leads. So what we're going to do is watch for the, when every row, a new row is created in our spreadsheet. So whenever a new raw lead comes in, we're going to pick that up. One thing that did happen a lot of times for me was that a lot of these modules here, a lot of these websites here were not HTTPS, and when you're downloading in make.com, as you can see here, you can only download HTTPS. So that's why I needed this set up this particular module here to convert all my HTTP into HTTPS, so that way I can be able to scrape that website. So you can just copy this. This is the formula that you need to do that if you ever run into that kind of error like I did. So the next module here is going to be the module that is going to go in and scrape your website and then download all the details on your website. So this one actually just does that. And the next thing, we are going to add our AI module that analyzes all the data that we have gotten in our website and then tells us if that person is a good fit for us, what kind of business they are running, what are the signals that might make them a good fit for us, what are they doing wrong in the business. Okay, for this particular example, what I did tell him was that I run a marketing agency, right? So I needed it to vet these leads as leads that need marketing services. So for your own case, it might be different depending on whatever service that they run. So you might want to tell it, oh, I'm a coach, or whatever B2B business that you run, like you're saving businesses, right? So whatever kind of business that you run, you can always tell it that that's the kind of business. Tell your AI that that's the business that you run. So you are analyzing this website to see, if they're a good fit and what the signals would be that they're a good fit for your business. And it's also score them on a scale of maybe 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, whatever works for you. That's what I basically just told it to do here. As you can see, my own is very long and detailed. So you would have to make yours as detailed as possible so that the AI will know how to properly score these leads for you. So now I now have the website content. So that's what I now fed into my AI module as well as the URL, although it really didn't need that. So that is the AI module. So the next module, of course, since I'm telling it to return all of these things, like let's go back in so that we see what we are asking it to return. Since I'm asking it to return, I'm asking it to and marketing need to understand the business. What do they do? Identify marketing signals and positive signals, negative signals, detect opportunities, call the lead, and and write a personalization line that I would use to reach out to them. So that's like 4, if not 5 things. You can see here, I'm telling it output, business summary, target audience, call, lead quality, personalization line, signal summary, opportunities. So those are all the fields I'm asking it to return when it's done, analyzing the lead. So of course it's going to, put them all in one bundle. So I need it to be split into individual bundles so I can use that to create my lead. So what I need for that is this JSON module here. So that's why I have this. So what I just do is add a data set here and create the data set that would split all of those data into its individual JSON or individual array for me, its individual components for me. So once it does that, I have a router here for the qualified leads and the unqualified leads. So the qualified leads, I wanted it to store them as qualified, like you can see here. And then the unqualified list, I wanted it to just store as new, just in case I want to go back and actually just have a review of them, and all of that. But although I might not want to, but just in case I want to do that. So now that I have these leads enriched, they are now created finally in my database, and that's when you have this here. So you have the industry, the phone number. The phone number is down here. The phone number is now here, the signals, the personalization, the score, the status, the source, the notes, everything that I need is now here because they have been enriched. So that they're not just random names, they're now names that I can tag to a particular business or a particular thing that they do, what's unique about their business, and business summary and everything I need in this case, right? So now that I have that done, so I'm going to go to, if you build that correctly now, the next thing that you are going to need is going to be the outreach system. Actually goes in to reach out to those leads that you have scraped into your database. So this is what that simple system will look like. So what you are trying to do is only filter by leads that we had said they are qualified, because if you remember, we had said some of them were not actually qualified, so we just saved them as new. So we only want to reach out to the ones that are actually qualified. So the first thing that we're going to do is watch out for, database items in our database. So of course, we're going to watch out by created time. So we're going to only be monitoring when a new lead is created. We are not really going to focus on the modified time because the lead already exists. So that means chances are high that we already reached out to them. So we really don't want to, trigger by modified time, but rather want to, trigger by created time. So of course, you limit every other thing here. The next thing, the important thing is to set up this filter here so that when it's only going to run when the status is tagged as qualified. If the status is not qualified for that new lead that just came in, then we are not going to, reach out to them just yet. Maybe like we can that would be like a personal thing, but this system will only handle the qualified lead. But of course, if you want something different, feel free. Right. So the next thing that we want to do is generate the email that we are going to send to them using that personalized line that we have. So after the research, of course, we had a personalized line from that research. So that's what you are using here. Excuse me, that's what we are using here to draft the message that we are sending to them now. And because we have that that modified, so because we have that personalization line that we had gotten from scraping their data and the leads, or their information on their data, their information on their website, we are going to have something that is very unique and very personalized for them, because we are not just randomly sending them you know blast emails. So yeah, you can go ahead and make the prompt as good as you want it. Of course, the better your prompt, the better your output. And because we are going to have the subject of the email and the body of the email composed into one, what we want to do is, spread them into its individual components. So that's why we need this parse JSON here that is going to parse our JSON and then split it into its individual components. So we can have body as a different component and have subject as a different component. One thing that I did add again was an AI module that is going to convert my body into an HTML, because I want it properly formatted in my recipient's inbox. I don't want it to be, clustered together like it was plain text, because what the first AI module, generated was plain text actually. So if I go ahead to send it directly, it's going to be clustered up in the recipient's inbox, and nobody actually types like that. In actuality, nobody sends an email that everything is clustered together. In your normal instincts, when you're sending email, you will put spaces in between. So I want it to, once that person opens that email, I don't want the person's first thought process to be, oh, this was an automation. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. So that's why I had to use the AI module to turn that body of text again into HTML. So now that I have the HTML here, so that's what this particular one is going to do, convert the body to a proper HTML, so it is better formatted and all of that. So now that I have my HTML, I'm going to go ahead and send my email. So of course, my connection and then the email address will come from my database, and the subject will come from my JSON, and then the body will come from my last OpenAI module that converted it to HTML. So once that email is sent, I want you to go ahead and update that database, to update that data item, and then update the status to completed. So now we are contacted them. Sorry, to contact them. So now that we have contacted them, they will no longer be as qualified. They will be listed as contacted. So that way we will monitor them and see if we have gotten any response from them or anything of that nature. So in light of monitoring for replies, right? This is a system that monitors our reply. So what this simple system does is that it watches for email. Once someone sends a new email, depending on the keyword or whatever the person said, it monitors that email. If the person is responding to the outreach that we send, it goes ahead to search for the person's name in our database and then updates their database to update their status to be replied if they're responded to whatever we are saying. So that anytime we come in the morning, we can see how many messages we sent, how many people replied, and all of that kind of thing. So the last one that I'm still working on, I'm not yet done with it, is going to be the booking integration, because in our responses or in our communication, we're trying to get them to book a meeting and all of that. So what I want to do with this last one that I'm not yet done is that I want you to watch for any event that has been created, so that way it will also watch for the event and then search our database to see if it will find the username, or sorry, the email that was used to create that event. So that way we can target that, oh, this lead that has this email was the one that created that event. So we can now go ahead and update our database item to booked. So that's how we are going to be able to fill this and have booked, replied, contacted, qualified, and of course new. So this now will be a grand look of everything that we have. So of course, in a working business, you're going to have so many leads here, and that way you'll be able to, monitor and have all of your leads in one dashboard, and you can every day just come in and see how many people you contacted, how many people you were able to qualify, how many people you contacted, how many replies you got, how many people actually booked your meeting or whatever you wanted them to do. So I don't know if you found this useful. If you did, please make sure to subscribe, share this video to other business owners that might want to set up like this. And if you want it, of course, I probably might give it out for free. I don't know, I'm not sure yet. But if you want, complete, if you want systems for your business, maybe advanced systems for your business, do have to reach out to me on my LinkedIn. I'll be responding to all your LinkedIn. Of course, my LinkedIn will always be tagged in the comments. And yeah, I think that's a wrap for us today. I will be seeing you in my next video. So if you like this, please give me a comment and subscribe to support your girl. And I will see you in my next one. Have a nice day.